And often when you're like in the space too, doing the thing, like it just all makes sense.
Yeah.
Like the problem is like when you think about stuff, you're like, oh, like how, you know, like how am I going to do this, and this? Like you can think about all that stuff and it just stresses you out.
Yeah.
But when you get there, you're just like, okay, cool. Like we're doing this now, and you just do it.
Yeah.
You know, like it's more reactive. But like when you, like you said, when you think about it so much, like then you start doubting yourself.
Yeah.
You know, and like that's where it gets dangerous. And that's why I think it's important just to keep working and not to actually worry about. Like I think some people will just like work on something forever and not try to get it perfect.
Yeah.
I think like for me, like the best thing I can do is just keep working and like just put everything into the work as I do it. And then, you know, like I would look back and I might be like, oh, I wish I'd done that differently. But like, I think it's more important to actually just finish it.
Hello and welcome to The Human Now, where we're discussing ideas around what it means to be in this day of time and more importantly, making positivity louder. My name is Akash and today, join with me, I have Tom Grut. How's it going, my man?
I'm good, bro. How are you?
I'm good. Welcome to the podcast. Welcome to our space.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for making some time to come down and have a chat with us and just let us know who you are and what you're about and what you do.
Yeah, thanks, bro. I appreciate you having me on. I'm also glad I cleaned my shoes because I didn't realize he's seeing them in the shot. So.
Yeah.
So I did that this morning, so that worked out well.
Just before we get started, I just want to give a little intro to Tom and who he is. So you might remember we've had a guy by the name of Fraser on before on the podcast. This is his older brother.
Yep.
Who sometimes works with Fraser as well, or do you actually work with Fraser like just off?
Yeah, we
both in the same film production company?
Yeah, we are. Like that's how I started.
Okay, cool.
But now I do more of my own stuff, and he's kind of got more of his own stuff going on. But we definitely still do some projects together. Yeah.
Okay, cool. And yeah, so that's pretty much how I found out about who you are, because I just see all these things that everything Fraser puts up, it's just like at Tom Grut.
Yeah.
Who is that at Tom Grut? And so here we are. We've arrived and we've got you on. Before we get started, we always ask a question at the beginning of our interviews. Do you fold or scrunch?
Do I what? Sorry?
Fold or scrunch?
Fold or scrunch? Wait, what?
you gotta kind of think the question is
Fold,
like
scrunch.
Usually maybe in the morning sometimes, or what are you thinking? What's going through your head right now?
Well, there's lots of things going through my head right now.
Like?
Well, I guess it was like the dirty implications of that. But then I thought maybe it was something to do with like laundry.
Yeah.
Are you not going to give me any more? Do I just need to answer?
Yeah, you just need to answer.
Okay, I fold.
Fold.
Yeah.
Nice. I like that. I'm a folder, so
yeah.
Here we go. We vibe.
Yeah, folders, we're going to stick together. So
cool, man. So for those who don't know, Tom is a musician. He's an artist. I'd say a creative in the video game and photography game. Photographer. He shoots, directs, and edits as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, I feel like we just want to get to know who you are, why you do what you do, and what you're about, pretty much. So where do we start? Let's start at the beginning. How did you get into the photo, the video, the creative world? Or
I guess it started. Well, I started at first. I wanted to be an actor. I kind of evolved a lot. So like it was always acting.
Wait, can you sing as well?
Yeah. I did a lot of like theater.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like I was kind of wanting to be an actor for years. And then when Fraser made his first feature film, I acted in that, and I kind of helped on the production side and like I wasn't editing at the time. And then kind of from there, Fraser, I remember at one point he ended up getting a bunch of gear and was like, oh, I'm going to start doing like, video is like a work thing now too. Like, because at before that, it was like, I just want to make feature films. And then it was like, oh, we've got some gear. Let's like start working. He's like, can you edit for me?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, like, I guess.
Had you edited before?
I had, yeah, like, but like in low key stuff and like definitely not with like proper software.
Right.
So when he asked me to edit, he kind of had to show me how to use Premiere Pro. Yeah. Which is really funny because like a day later I was showing him how to use it. Like he gave me like a real brief overview of it and then I just kind of ran with it. And then I just like, really loved editing. Yeah. I really got into that side of things. And so, I was doing that for like a couple of years with, like a few years with Fraser, like just with Fraser. Yeah. We were just doing work together. And then it got to the point where like couldn't afford to kind of be full time, like him kind of having me on board like that. Yeah. So at that point I needed to kind of figure out what I was going to do because he was like, because at the time, it was like, I guess it was like celery. Yeah. Which was like, made it a bit easier. But then it got to the point and it was like, we can't do this anymore. So I kind of had to make a choice. I kind of had to be like, I either need to like push and find stuff myself or I need to get a part-time job. Yeah.
And what was that decision like? What was going through your head?
It just kind of like hit me all at once, but I think it was a very quick decision for me. Yeah. Like I like straight away was like, okay, I'm going to hustle. Yeah. Like I think generally speaking, I work best when my back's against the wall. Yeah. So like, like that was just like a moment where I was like, oh no, like what's going to go here? And then like once that settled, which was like pretty quickly, I was like, okay, what do I need to do now? Yeah. So I just sent hundreds of emails and, like, cause I had the like skill set as an editor. I just didn't have any like clients of my own. Right. Like, so it was basically starting that from scratch. Yeah. And being like, how can I find work? Like, and as an editor, I feel like it's a pretty good place. Like it's easier, I think, to find work because more people need editors, I think. Yeah. And it's easy because it can be done remotely. Yeah. So, it's not too much of an effort to have you on board. Like, they can just send you stuff and, so that like started working out. Yeah.
And out of those emails that you sent out, how many emails did you send out?
I probably sent like 500 emails or something.
And how many did you get back?
Like 50. Maybe.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe around there. Like, it's definitely like, you just gotta like, you just got to accept that most people aren't going to respond. Yeah. And like, I think that was a good thing I learned from Fraser. Like one of the things I always thought he did well was just getting himself out there. Yeah. And like, I think
he's relentless. Eh?
Yeah, he is relentless. He's way more relentless than me. Yeah. But like the kind of whole mindset where it's like, if you don't ask this, the answer's going to be no. Yeah. So like that's the thing, right? The worst thing they can say is no or not respond. Yep. Like that's it. You can email anyone, like, and it's not going to hurt you. Yeah.
So did you always grow up thinking you wanted to be an actor?
No, I kind of flipped a bit. I definitely wanted to be a professional golfer for a while.
Oh, mean.
Yeah.
And then? Huh? And then? Like, did it work out or?
Yeah, no, well, because my dad's a professional golfer.
Yeah.
Well, he was working as one for most of his life. Yep. And so I grew up with that. And then from the age of probably like 12 to 17, 16, I was like really into it. Like I was playing for Auckland.
Oh,
and,
me.
And I guess it was like a hard thing for me though with golf because like I still love it, but it's like I've got like a very like introverted, extroverted personality and like golf is like super isolated. Right. And so like to really do that by yourself, it takes a lot of work and like a lot of just time on your own. Yeah. Whereas then I kind of started getting into acting. Yeah. And like that was like letting out my like extroverted side. Yeah. But then I think I found ultimately that I just enjoy golf more when it's like just for fun. Yeah. Like it took me a while to get out of that mentality because
you were quite young then.
Yeah.
Like you said in your teens.
Yeah. 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 So yeah. It was quite a hard transition because like I was so used to playing like good golf and then like if you don't play much golf, like you're not going to play that good. Yeah. So it took me a while to get over that And just, you know, like I'd get out, I'd be like super frustrated that it wasn't like as good as I was.
Yeah.
But now I just go out with dad and stuff and I just, you know, I just try and have fun. You know,
your frustrations out on the ball.
Yeah, you know, you still get frustrated, but like it's like, you know, you can just get over it.
Yeah.
You know, whereas like if I used to have a bad round of golf, like it would just like ruin my day.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
I definitely don't let that happen anymore.
That happens to me, man. Like I have zero practice and zero skill in golf, but like, you know, just going to the driving range and you just want to like smash, like just vent and let it all out. And like, even still, I remember the first time I went to the driving range and I had no idea how to swing a golf club or a driver or anything like that. And like, I just smacked and like the head on the club just like flung off and broke. And I was like, okay.
Honestly, I think driving ranges are such dangerous places.
Yeah.
Like the lack of skill you have there.
Yeah.
And like in this like close confinement, like it's just like, so I reckon they must have so many issues every day that you just don't like hear about. Like
so many injuries with the balls just like ricocheting.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
People just hitting the walls and stuff. Like I always feel like real twitchy at driving ranges. Like, yeah.
So you prefer to be out on the green?
Yeah, for sure. I definitely don't like hitting golf balls out of driving ranges. Like it's fun, like if you're with your mates and stuff, but like, I definitely prefer like the open air, you know, bit more space.
Do you like watching golf?
I love watching golf. Like I'm real weird. Like I watch a lot of golf. Like I almost enjoy watching golf more than playing golf sometimes. But like I'm like a big Tiger Woods fan. So like I would like religiously watch Tiger Woods. Like I wouldn't, for years, I just haven't missed like a shot. Like, I like, you know, like I won't go on like Twitter for the day. Like if I haven't been able to watch it in the morning, so I can like be surprised in the evenings. Yeah, bro. Like I was fully on that journey.
Whoa. Like, okay. Can you like walk me through what it is about like golf that, because for me, it's just like, you know, when you see like the shot where they get it into the hole and you're just like, oh yeah, that was actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
You know, but like, I'm sure there's so much more to it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to it, but I think it's like anything. Like I grew up with it, so like it's just like a part of me. Like I feel like if I didn't grow up with it, maybe I wouldn't think about it the same. You know, like I don't like. I can definitely try sell golf to someone, but like I definitely also understand that it's not for everyone.
Yeah,
like you know, like especially like watching it and stuff. You know, like for me, I love watching it. Like I love watching like, you know, the greats do their thing. Yeah. You know, that's why I love Tiger Woods, because I was like, I want to watch the best demolish everyone. Like that's appealing to me. Like, like, you know, watching sports performed at a high level, you know, like in any sports, it's the same thing, right? You know? Yeah. That's why people watch LeBron or, you know, like it's because they want to see that.
Exactly. Yeah. So has Tiger been an influence or like a inspiration, you could say?
Well, I guess like not personally, like as a, you know, like I obviously, you know, as a person, he's had his, has had an interesting journey, but I mean, as an athlete, I was always just the commitment to excellence, but it's also like the kind of thing I look at and I'm like, I just would never want to push myself that far down, even in what I do, you know, like it's like that real like one single-minded drive can really be dangerous.
But isn't that like the road to mastery?
I think it is, but I think for me, like there's a balance.
Yeah.
Like I think like when I see people like that, it's like, it's awesome. Like, and I love it. But I think like you have to sacrifice a part of yourself for that. Like, and I think it's just, for me, it's like finding that balance between pushing myself and being able to have, you know, my family life and you know, like I think that's really important. Like I don't think I think I'd be pretty sad if I pushed myself like that hard, got to into my life and was like I did well in this, but like what else do I have? You know?
No, I think it's easy to get sucked into being on that one track mind, because like it's so easy to take in so much as well from the external world telling you like, you know, if you be the best, if you practice every day, if you do this, you know, you focus, you put all your all into it and you'll get there, no doubt. But like, what is the cost of that?
Yeah, I guess for me, it's like the main thing is just every project I do, I'm just trying to put my best into it. Yeah. And I feel like for me, that's like the best I can do, you know, like, and that changes for each project, what that looks like. But it's just everything you do, you're trying to be better. Yeah. Like, but like, you know, not at like, not at any cost, I think, for me.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's still, you still got that mindset. It's not like complacency.
Yeah.
It's just like knowing that, like, for me, like doing what I love, doing it well, enjoying myself is like more important than reaching some kind of like goalpost that like probably keeps moving.
Yeah.
I think it always keeps moving for people. They can't really accept where they're at because they're so focused on like the next thing.
Yeah.
I think you should enjoy it as you go along,
So do you have an aspiration or somewhere where you want to head, or?
Yeah. I mean, like it's kind of like open-ended a little bit, like, because so much, like I said, like so much has changed for me.
Yeah.
So like, it's not all been like one thing. Like, so I'm always trying to like leave things a little bit open.
What has changed? Do you want to talk about that?
Well, I guess like, I mean, like I said, like I started, like I wanted to be a golfer, then I wanted to be an actor, and then I got into editing. And then when I went freelance, I was still just editing.
Yeah.
And then I kind of started in late 2019 picking up a camera myself to take photos. And so like,
it's quite like late in the
well, that's the thing, right?
In your game, right?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, that's why it's like, it's kind of cool to be open to stuff because you just never know. And then like I just fell in love with that.
So did you go to university?
Nah.
You didn't go to uni?
Yeah.
Okay, so wait, let's backtrack it. Let me get
like bouncing back and forth.
Let me get an understanding of this. Okay, so how old were you when you wanted to do the golf?
I was probably like 12 to 16, 17.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then acting?
Probably like 17 to like my like early 20s, early mid 20s.
And so when you're acting, is this like in stage or TV or?
It was a bit of both.
Cool.
Like I moved to London when I was 20.
We went all the way to London as well.
Yeah, to try and study acting.
Okay,
so like I went there and I got into a drama school.
Yeah.
And then the second I got accepted, I had like a realization that I didn't want to study it. But I was like, this is great, because I was like, if I didn't go, I would have spent my whole life wondering.
Yeah.
So like I kind of got there and then I got the acceptance and I was like, like actually I'm not sure about this anymore.
From what I know about your parents, I feel like they would have encouraged you to do that. They'd be right.
Yeah. I mean, they're great. Like they've probably like sat through a few questionable decisions, like, but like they were always supported us and always, wanted us to just do our thing and, follow kind of wherever we felt we were going at the time. So, yeah.
So you're in London.
Yeah.
Kind of like, okay, this is maybe not what I want to
do.
Yeah. And then?
Then I came back, and then that's when
in the same year or after?
So I was there for a year.
Okay.
And then I came back, and then that's when we started making the movie, the feature film.
So you would have been
Fraser.
about early 20s.
Yeah, I would have probably been about, I just turned 22, I
Okay.
think, when we started that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then?
And then we did that, and that was kind of like a interesting experience, putting that together.
Yeah.
We learned a lot of lessons on that, like big undertaking, and but it was like, quite formative, I guess.
Yeah, and that's how you only learn, is like sometimes you got to chuck yourself into the deep end. And not know what you're doing, get handed like, or even just to know what it's like having the funds to do it.
Yeah.
And just like, okay,
honestly think like the biggest realization I had, which kind of helped me, was that like no one really knows what they're doing. Like, like everyone's kind of like, everyone's got skills and train, like, people have skills and training, but like ultimately I think people are just winging it. Yeah. And I feel like the mindset that's dangerous is thinking that you got to wait till you're like at a certain point to do stuff.
Yeah.
Like, or like, I got to be like this good. Like, you just got to be, I think that's like a safety net to think like that. Like, I think the like you said, the deep end is the best place to learn, and everything I've done has been like learning in the deep end, like all the best jobs I've done, or the ones that were the most like, gave me the most development were the ones that, the night before you hope that they call and cancel, like those, but that's how I always know, like, it's a job I should be doing. It's like when you're like when you're like that nervous, where you're like, I'm like too scared to do this, you know, but that's when you're like, I actually have to do this.
Yeah.
You know, and like, it always works out, you know.
100%, man. And I can just testify to that 100% because like I'm sitting here right now, and last night when I set everything up and after I'd messaged you, I was like, man, like, what are we gonna talk about? Like, okay, I've messaged him this late. Maybe he might just like pull out, or he might just, you know, be like, oh, I can't come tomorrow, and maybe that's what I want. And then after that, I was like, wait, hold on, that's not the point, right? The point is that he's a human being. The point is that we can still learn about who he is and what he, you know, like we've seen his work, and like it's just be inquisitive. Yeah. And like now that I'm sitting here, I'm just thankful that, you know, we just kept going. I set everything up and just followed through, and 100%, like, bro. Because again, if I hadn't done it, man, oh my gosh, I would have sat here and just been like, oh, I wouldn't have even been sitting here. Yeah. But I would have been like, man, you should have done the podcast today. Yeah. You know, like I would have felt 10 times worse. Yeah, man. Not have done it. Then.
And often when you're like in the space too, doing the thing, like it just all makes sense. Yeah. Like the problem is like when you think about stuff, you're like, oh, like how, you know, like how am I going to do this and this? Like you can think about all that stuff and it just stresses you out. Yeah. But when you get there, you're just like, okay, cool. Like we're doing this now, and you just do it. Yeah. You know, like it's more reactive. But like when you, like you said, when you think about it so much, like then you start doubting yourself, you know, and like that's where it gets dangerous. And that's why I think it's important just to keep working and not to actually worry about, like, I think some people will just like work on something forever and not try to get it perfect. Yeah. I think like for me, like the best thing I can do is just keep working and like just put everything into the work as I do it. And then, you know, like I would look back and I might be like, oh, I wish I'd done that differently. But like, I think it's more important to actually just finish it. Yeah. And then like, you know, because
you can get lost in perfection.
Yeah, totally. I definitely like, especially as an editor, like I make quite conscious choices to be as instinctive as possible with my edits, because I think it's really easy to overthink edits. Like I'm quite big on like, I'll just, once I know what I'm doing, I'll put it together and I'm like, if I like this, I'll just send it off to the client to look at, rather than like aching over it, you know, like, because there's always something to change.
Self-doubt, right? Yeah. Like, oh, I've done it and it's happened, and maybe sometimes it happens just too quickly. Yeah. Because that's the same thing. Like, so, and out of my podcasting like world, I practice as like an architect. So cool. We design spaces and buildings, right? And like sometimes when you design a space and you get given a site, something just happens like just naturally, and you create the thing and you're just like, man, that happened really quick and easy. And then you're like, wait, it can't be this easy. It can't be this quick. Like, surely I must have something wrong. And then you start like looking at all the things that are like right or wrong, and you like, you know, you overthink the whole thing, and it's just like, you go through this whole process and you're just like, oh no, actually I like what I just did at the beginning. Yeah.
But like, that's it. It's just got to trust your instincts, because that's all you have. Yeah. Like, and nothing's ever finished. Yeah. Like nothing, like no piece of art you've ever seen was like finished. Yeah. Like they could have kept going, you know, like true. Like that's just the thing, right? Like it's, that's the way I look at it. I'm just like,
how do you remember a point in time where that kind of like mind switch just like flicked for you? Because I know you also talked about like people don't actually know what they're doing. Yeah. And I resonate with that too, whereas like everyone's just making it up. Yeah. If you don't know, you just make it up. We don't know what we're doing here. We don't like, just like all the, like when we started this podcast, we had no clue what we were doing.
But no one that you look up to either did, you know, like no one, like no podcast you look at and you're like, that's like where I want to be. Yeah. Like they always just started the same, you know, like I always say that like all my favorite artists, like they just started out being like, you know what, like I want to do this, and they just made it happen, you know?
Is it, I probably know the answer, but like, is that the same? So, you know, you work with like people like Faraswamy, Jess B. Yeah. Are they the same? You know, like...
Oh, like in like their process?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Like everyone.
Do you feel like they're just like making it up and that experimentation?
I just think like the most inspiring thing about all these artists and why I like love working with artists is that they are just like doing it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it's like they're super skilled and, you know, like obviously they know what they're doing. Like, you know, like, but there's still that element that everyone is just humans and they all are just they're all trying to make it work for themselves. You know, like they're all out there hustling, you know, like, and the places that they're at today came from that hard work. You know, like they didn't just kind of like get there and like out of nowhere, you know, like they done like the hard yards, you know, like, so like I always try to be respectful of that when I work with artists because I feel like it's like, you know, like they've done so much work to get their brand to that point.
What do you mean by the work?
I mean, like, it comes down to everything. I mean, it's like their skills, you know, like as artists, you know, from a musical point of view, it's like the relationships they build, you know, like the kind of brand they build around themselves, like, you know, like all those things, you know, like they're in there deep, you know, and they've put in the hours. So like you can't come to these artists, I don't think, with like any sense of entitlement. Like I think it's like a gift actually that they kind of want you there. I kind of look at it that way. Like, you know, they're like, we've done all this hard work, but we want you to come and help us like further what we're doing. Right. You know, I kind of look at it that way. Like,
it's that gratitude, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Like,
and they're all like, and I mean, in New Zealand, like it's hard to make it as an artist, like full time. Like, there's like a lot of artists I work with like aren't full time. Some are, but like, it's like really hard. Like a lot of them have second jobs. You know, just to, you know, so I always look at it that way too. Like I'm like, especially like if, you know, you're getting paid to do something and it's not funded, like, you know, it's coming out of their check. You know, so like no matter how big the artist is, I always like, if I've said, I'll work with you, like I'm always going to give you like 100%. Like I'm not going to make, like, you know, like I should be doing like a bigger job, whatever. Like it's, you know. It
was like, so J. Cole's just recently dropped his album.
I was just listening to it again on the way here.
Oh man, because I've been waiting for a moment to just sit down and like just listen to it. You know, but we watched this. My sister made me. She loves J. Cole and she made me watch the documentary. She's like, because
good.
So I got this is a story. I like got up right and. I was getting ready for work and she usually gets up a little bit earlier before me and gets ready, but that day she hadn't, like when the documentary dropped. And then I was like, what are you doing? She's like, oh, the Cole documentary's out. And I'm watching it. I'm like, bro, it's like the morning. You got to get to school and go teach. And she's like, no, it's like 12 minutes. Don't worry. I need to watch it. So she's a true fan. And so she made me watch that, the doco like later on in the evening. And the one line that stuck out for me was like, have you written your best song yet? Have I written my best song? You know, and it's like just that not aiming for perfection, but holding yourself up to that standard. And when you're talking about reaching or giving your 100%, is for me, that's the have I written my best song?
Exactly. You know, each song, like, or video, like, you know, each video you try to make is you're just trying to make your best video. You know, like I guess that's the only way you can approach it, you know, like and it just is tailored to that project, but you give your best to that. Then, you know, who said it recently? There's an actor called Mads Mikkelson who's like a really cool actor. I think he was like one of the James Bond bad guys in Casino Royale. And he had a quote in an interview recently that I thought was really cool. And he was talking about that because he was like, people often ask me like why I haven't done like bigger movies or like why I haven't, you know, made it as like an A-list actor or something. And he's like, but I don't like think of my career that way. Like he's like, he thinks a lot of actors like chase kind of that celebrity or that bag, you know, like, so he's like, for him, he's like, I just do projects that I feel like I want to do at the time. And then I just give that 100%. And he's like, and I make that my priority. And then, you know, he's like, and then I just enjoy what I'm doing instead of being focused on like the end goal. And he's like, and at the end of the day, he's like, I'll look back at my career and I'll know how big or small it was, but he's like, it doesn't matter because I'll have had a good time, you know? And I was like, that was really cool. I thought that was like a really good way to look at it.
Yeah.
You know?
I feel, from what I'm feeling and what I'm understanding, I feel like that's the type of person that you are.
It's what I try, you know,
Cool.
like it's kind of, I think you have to actively try and like think of these things.
You do.
You know, like
yeah,
otherwise
because you
can
can't
get
just
caught.
be that, right?
Yeah, you know, like, and I always have these conversations with Fraser because he's such a future thinker. Like,
He is,
so
visionary.
like, so like I kind of take that from him, but like I also like try and like, you know, balance him out sometimes. I'm like, you know, you got to just enjoy the now sometimes and like what you've achieved, you know, but like he's massive. And like, because of that mindset, he'll do big things, you know, like, so like, but it's, I think we have like slightly different approaches to like the same thing.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
So that's interesting because do you have a big thing that you want to work towards? Like right now, you're editing. Are you producing as well? Like in terms of, or more just editing and directing? Okay.
Yeah. So like, I don't really like producing.
Yeah.
But I kind of like, it's kind of the point I kind of have to.
Yeah.
Like, unless you have bigger budgets.
Yeah.
It's just, but I think it's good to learn it as well.
Yeah.
I think it's good to learn all those things. So yeah, it's like directing, producing. Sometimes I shoot myself, or I get my mate to shoot for me. And then photography. But photography was kind of like how I got into music. Right. Because I felt like it was an easier in. Yeah. Because I can just like, you know, reach out to artists and be like, yo, like if you ever want photos or like if you're at the studio. Yeah.
So is that what you did?
Yeah.
Yeah, you just hit
like
them up.
Instagram,
and
Instagram.
Let me
like,
just create some content for you.
Yeah. I just, any artist that I'm into, like I just send them a message and, you know, sometimes they reply, sometimes they don't. Yeah. But then I found, you know, the more I go along, the more they reply. Yeah. You know, so like it's cool to see that.
You just got to be open, eh?
Yeah.
You just got to put yourself out there. And,
and
like, I think also what I've just picked up on is like just giving. Yeah,
exactly.
You know, like just give as much as you can to then. Yeah. Like you'll reap the rewards 10 times. Yeah.
It's about like being part of that, you know, with them and not being like, you know, oh, you're like trying to get something from them. Yeah. It's like, you know, what can I give you? Yeah. You know, and I guess like it's another realization I had was like, you know, you often can think that, oh, like I got nothing to offer this artist, or like they're so like good, or like this doing this thing, like what could I give them? Yeah. But like the thing is you do have something to offer. Yeah. Like, and like in the most, like the least, like, you know, like narcissistic way possible. It's like, but you know, anyone has something to offer. Like, you know, like, and what I have to offer is different to what anyone else has to offer, you know, and the same way with them, you know, the way you see things, the way you
do you remember a time where that switch happened for you where, because I know a lot of people like don't value what they have, or they don't know their talent, and they don't know their talent, and they don't know their own worth. Yeah, you see that a lot. You know, how did that happen for you, and how did you overcome that?
I don't know if I was like, I don't know if I ever like was on the other side of that where I was like, oh, I don't have anything to offer. But I think like there was definitely like a moment a couple of years ago where I just kind of clicked. Whereas like, it was probably like, you know, like during the first COVID lockdown. Yeah. Which again was like another one of those moments where like I had my back against the wall. Yeah. And so like I did a lot of like work during that first lockdown, like in terms of like networking and building my website and practicing my craft and stuff. So like, that was definitely like a moment where I was like, okay, like I need to be like, I want to go all in on this, because like you just never know when it's going to get taken away from you again. So yeah, that kind of really like motivated me, I think, to kind of just, and I was kind of motivated before that, but like I think that definitely like kind of permanently put my back against the wall. Yeah. Like I feel like since that first lockdown, like I definitely haven't lost that feeling that like you know,
you got everything to lose, like if you don't move,
you know, like and everyone's just in the same boat. But I think it kind of like humanized everyone at the same time too. Like everyone's going through the same thing together. Yeah. You know,
what was that experience like? Like what was COVID like for you? It would have been tough, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Because you couldn't meet anyone. You wouldn't be able to like shoot content and.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I at first it just like stopped for like
Yeah.
a few weeks. It was
Yeah.
nothing. But I had some editing work filter through,
Cool.
which was nice.
Yeah.
So like, and like I said, that was like, that's the awesome thing about editing is it's definitely
Just
quite an
remote.
adaptable skill to have.
Yeah.
But yeah, like lockdown was obviously tough, but
Yeah.
it was like, I know we moved back in with my family.
Yeah.
And it was nice, you know, everyone got along and,
Yeah.
you know, we just did our things, but I just tried to keep a routine, I think.
Yeah.
Like, I think it would have been quite easy just to lose that. But
Yeah.
I think I just, again, that like back against the wall mentality, I was like, I need to like,
Yeah.
you know, get up in the morning. I need to.
Do you have a routine? Because I know Fraser wakes up at ridiculous hours to go running in the morning.
He's a madman. Fraser will always find the most extreme way to do anything.
Yeah.
Like he just can't, he can't do anything like a regular person.
Yeah.
You know, like that's the magical thing about Fraser, but it's
That's not you.
It's
You
not.
prefer you enjoy your sleep.
I do enjoy my sleep, but
Yeah.
this year I've been a bit better. Like because I work from home mostly, so
Yeah.
I tended to just kind of roll out of bed and just make a coffee and just start working. But this year I've been a bit more deliberate about my morning routine.
Yep.
And actually getting up a little bit earlier, having like time just to like, I don't know, just say meditate and read.
Yeah.
Before I start my day.
What do you read?
I guess it depends. I love nonfiction. So like I read a lot of books about like social and civil rights issues. I find those quite interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of like using reading as like a time to learn.
Yeah.
You know, like rather than I kind of get my escapism from film.
Yeah.
Like, but for me, books are like, I read books faster if I'm engaged in learning from them, I think.
You read anything into like personal development or anything like that, or more
Into what, sorry?
like personal development type, or
no, not really actually. Like,
or just general knowledge about the world and
I am quite interested in, you know, in social issues and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I always feel like I always want to be learning more because I feel like when there's stuff I care about like that, I want to be the type of person who can actually talk about it intelligently, or like actually discuss it with people.
Yeah.
Like I feel like otherwise I'm, you know, just going off information I heard and then like you can't actually talk about it.
Yeah.
So I found like for me that was a good way to, especially when like you kind of sometimes feel helpless in situations. You're like, oh man, like how can I even help? Like I feel like actually like educating yourself, you can be like way more helpful.
Yeah.
Because, you know, if you're talking to someone and they're just like talking nonsense or they're just like, oh, I saw this post here, all right. And you're like, well, have you read anything about it? Yeah. And the answer is usually no. And it's like, it can kind of shut down the conversation or like where it's going because like once the person admits that they don't actually know anything
no backing, right?
There's no backing, you know, like, so it's not about like one-upping people, but it's just like being like, okay, cool. Like making that like person think about what they're saying. Yeah. And being like, because if I haven't educated myself, then like we're just doing the same thing from different sides, you know? So
100%. You're just going and grabbing surface-based information on what you think you've seen and you're forming your own perception of what you think you know, but you don't actually know.
Yeah, exactly.
And
you know,
you're putting it out and magnifying it out somewhere else, and all these other people are now taking light on it.
But that's the
know?
social media thing, right? It's like a blessing and a curse. But I found a lot of people I just kind of unfollowed because I was just like, people just be saying stuff and I just be like, oh, and you know, you want to like respond, but I'm like, I just don't think it's a good forum to talk about stuff. Yeah. But then the problem is people love to just air out their kind of
frustrations and
or just not very well thought through ideas, you know, they'll just throw it out there on Facebook or something and you just just like, you know, just
would you say you're, I think you're more like the introverted, and I feel like you're definitely more of an introverted person than Fraser.
Well, it's interesting, but I feel like he's actually quite introverted if you get to know him.
Yeah, he is quite.
Like he definitely like, especially like in lockdown stuff, he definitely like, you know, he spent a lot more time with himself. Yeah. I think we just like our extroversion and introversion just shows in different ways. Yeah. I think he's really good at, you know, going out and being the big personality, but he definitely, he's definitely got that in him. But I think, that's like a lot of our family. apart from one of our brothers who's just a big loud extrovert.
Right. Where do you fall in the?
I'm the oldest.
The oldest.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's another 3 or 2.
Yeah.
4?
So there's Fraser, Ben, and Harry.
Ah yeah.
Yeah.
Nice big family.
Yeah.
It must be good, having everyone together.
Yeah, we love it, man.
Yeah.
Like, awesome family. Yeah. It was a pretty important thing for us growing up, and our parents like really, rammed that into us growing up, how important that is. So we still, always try and have a lot of family gatherings and stuff. And yeah.
Do you feel like what the work that you do is service based?
I mean, I guess if you consider I guess it's like artists hyping up like what they do too much, but I definitely think, music is super important.
Yeah.
Like I think, it's so necessary. Yeah. So like, especially when artists and talking about stuff that I like really believe in and stuff, like I feel like I really want to help elevate their voices, and help them out. Like I definitely think.
And that's like along the lines of working with people like Verswami and Jespi and Black City and
definitely. Like Black City are like, on another level right now.
I love how they've all just come together and they're just like, let's lift the vibration here. And
they have, man. Like it's really cool. Like they're like, it's like a first for New Zealand what they're doing. Yeah. So like it's got that feeling behind it. When I shot them at Explore couple of months back. Yeah. Like, it felt big. Yeah. Their first headlining show. Yeah. Like I was really nervous. I never get nervous shooting shows, but I was so nervous. Yeah. Because it was that thing where I felt like everyone had to lift their game that day. Yeah. And I was like, including me.
Was that because you guys felt like was that like an underdog mentality, or like because no one's ever seen it and we've got something to?
Yeah, I just think it was like the first time they performed together before, but just popping up at each other's shows.
Featuring.
Yeah. So like, I think for them, it was like, this is the first time where.
Oh, that's all good. We'll keep going. I just got to turn the cameras back on.
Oh, you're good, bro. Come so far with technology and cameras still turn off after a while.
Yeah, so that's like the humanness about this thing, is that nothing's ever perfect.
Yeah,
and
that's the thing, but nothing needs to be perfect.
Like, you try so hard to make sure everything works, and I guess the blessing is we got this camera back because this thing froze up, but it's just you kind of plan for everything to be free flowing and. Yeah, it's just but that's the thing. You can plan so much. Yeah. And then you got to let everything just be as it is. And
got to let the chips fall.
Exactly, man. Yeah. Otherwise, like you said, you just get caught up on wanting to attain that perfection, and you're never going to get it.
That's why I love Kanye West.
Yeah.
I reckon he's revolutionized that kind of just inspired, just volatile creation, where it's just he just makes stuff, puts it out, or scraps it or whatever. But I think he was the first artist ever to release an album that was not finished in his own words and continued to change it after it was released. Yeah, I felt like that was kind of like a landmark moment in art, because previously anything that was released was this is done, you don't touch this now, and he was nah, I'm gonna fix this as it go along, Yeah. But people work by arbitrary deadlines. Yeah. Which I think deadlines can be helpful, but I think he made a huge point by being okay, well, I'm going to release it, but it's not done. But then
I think it allows it just, like you said, it opens it up to us being on the journey with him.
Yeah. 100%.
We get to see what it's like, what he's thinking. Yeah. Taking it in and being okay, we can see how he's got this, he's transformed it because he's thinking about certain things are happening in his life, and they're impacting his decisions.
Yeah, exactly. I think, it was Life of Pablo. That's my favorite Kanye West album, because I feel like it's the most raw version of himself. Yeah. Because, everyone talks about his best albums are the most refined and I'm like, that's cool, but to me, that's not Kanye. Yeah. Kanye is a volatile person, he's, all over the place. Yeah. So I want a project by him that feels like that.
Yeah.
You know, because that's like more personal, like you said, you know, like tells us more about himself.
Yeah.
You know.
I love how he's just expanded himself into everything. You know, he's not just like a music artist or a producer or,
yeah, well,
you know,
he got a chip on his shoulder, you know, like he was told he couldn't do fashion.
Yeah.
You know, like he went to every fashion house to collab and they were like, nah.
Yeah.
And he was mad about that, and rightfully so.
Yeah.
And he was like, I'm fine. I don't need you.
Yeah.
You know, like it's crazy, you know, like there's people like that. Like I can't even imagine what it'd be like to live with that mentality, but like just that you say, I can't do this.
Yep.
So I'm going to do it, you know, like it's, you know.
Even just with like that much hate coming towards you and being that much negativity coming towards you.
Just not caring about it.
Like everyone's like, oh, like Kanye. Oh yeah, Kanye.
Yeah. Like everyone's got an opinion on Kanye.
You know, but it's like, man, the guy's trying.
Bro, like.
Why are you beating him down for like trying to do something? And
well, I mean, you look at the way like he, you know, he was upset that like the churches wouldn't really get behind him. So what does he do? He creates his own church. Like it's just so typical. Like I actually saw his Sunday service in America.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, a couple of years back.
How'd that
we
happen?
were just in America, just on a holiday. We went to go to Camp Flognaw, which is Tyler the Creator's music festival in LA.
Yeah.
So we were in LA for that. And then my mate who was there with us, he was like, oh, yo, Kanye's got a Sunday service on, like, should we go? It's like $15 or something.
What?
Yeah. So we went along and it was wild.
$15?
Yeah, super cheap. Well, people would go. It was church.
Exactly.
Like it wasn't like, it was a concert, but like it was church.
Yeah.
Like people were like, you know, there were parents there with their kids in their Sunday best.
Yeah.
You know, it was kind of weird.
Yeah.
Like, but cool.
Yeah.
You know, he brought up a couple of interesting speakers.
Right.
Which were,
how many people were there?
well, it was at, what stadium was it? It was at like one of their big venues in LA, big concert venues. I can't remember what it's called. But it's like probably like, it might be the biggest concert venue.
Yeah.
And he had that, it wasn't full, but like it was pretty full.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, compared to like a New Zealand scale.
Yeah. Well, it was just weird. Me and my mate were sitting there and we were just like, yo, we're seeing Kanye. It just kind of, it didn't really register, you know? Like, because it was mostly the choir. Like it wasn't about him. And that was what I did give him credit for. Like you can people could be cynical about that stage of his career all they want, but it did feel genuine. Yeah. Especially coming from like a background where I grew up in the church. So like I kind of, you know, like it didn't feel to me like false, which was cool. But yeah.
Bit of truth.
Yeah. It's cool, truth. Man. Yeah.
And just backtracking, like we were talking before, you're talking about being at like Explore and the festival. So I've seen like from some of your work, you've been behind the stage and taking photos and, you know, shooting content and stuff like that. What's that been like?
I love it.
Yeah?
Yeah. Concert photography is like my favorite thing. Yeah. Yeah. That's where I feel the most comfortable.
How'd you get into that?
I think it was late, like 2019. I shot a show for Live Nation, but I was doing video at that time because I wasn't comfortable with photo. Right. And I had my guy Sash doing photo, but it was like at Spark Arena. They had like, it was like a.
Just let me just pause here. This is still like considered late in the game, right?
Yeah.
You're like late 20s now?
Yeah, 29, yeah.
And so this would probably be like 26, 27, 28-ish.
Yeah, it would have been 27. Yeah.
Because, you know, by like before that, people have still got life figured out or like they think life is figured out. They're going uni, got the job, blah, 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 blah. But you're still tossing up what you're doing and figuring out where you're going and what you're doing, right?
Yeah, it was just being open to different avenues. Like, and I think because it was at that event, it was Juice WRLD, who at the time was one of my favorite artists and died 2 weeks later. But yeah, just like being in the photo pit there, I was like, whoa, you know, like this is a huge high. Like it's such a huge natural high shooting. Like I'm like, it's not shooting any like, you know, it's shooting concerts of artists I love. Yeah. You know, like it's just a whole different thing.
Yeah.
You know, like shooting Black City Explore.
Yeah.
And like I remember last year I shot Just Be at Neck of the Woods, and I was just like buzzing, you know, like it's just so much fun.
Is it the being on the stage, or is it being like capturing the content?
I think it's both. Yeah. Well, I'm not always on the stage.
Yeah.
It depends. If I'm there with the artist, I can go on the stage. But if I'm shooting, like not directly for the artist, then you don't get to go on the stage. Yeah. But no, I think it's just being there, like capturing something, because I feel like I love concerts, you know, like that's one of my favorite things. Yeah. And I think like, it's pretty like, it's always a thing. I'm like, obviously last year it hasn't really been like that, but you know, when artists come by who I really love, I always try and see them, because I feel like that's like such a good investment, because you just never know when you can see them again. Yep. Like, you know, anything can happen. Like I said, I shot Juice WRLD and 2 weeks later he died. Yeah. You know, like it's like you just never know. Exactly. So I feel like you're capturing something like special that's happening, you know, like, and it's just trying to capture that energy. Yeah. Yeah. So like, especially when it's an artist you love, it's just like, so much fun. It must feel quite exhilarating. Yeah. To do that. Do you like just being like, if you had to choose, would you like to be in the audience or shooting? Oh, that's on stage. Yeah. I used to toss that up a bit. Yeah. Like, you know, like, but because it's a different experience. Yeah. It's watching very different. A performance. Yeah. And then also shooting a performance. Yeah. And then also being backstage and knowing what the performance is, like delivering the performance is 3 completely different things. Yeah. No, I think I definitely edge towards, like, if my favorite artist rolled through town now, I'd definitely want to be shooting it. Yeah. Like, I think at Baydream. In the pit or? In the Oh, just wherever. I mean, okay. At Baydreams this year, I really wanted to take photos. They had an Atlanta hip hop group called Earth Gang come through. Yep. And I'm a big fan, and I really wanted to shoot that set. Yeah. And it was kind of at that point where I wasn't sure whether like it's the type of thing where I'd rather be in the crowd or shooting it. Yeah. But I shot the whole set, and I was like up the front, the huge photo pit, like no one around me, like, you know, like this far from them. Yeah, like taking photos of the whole set, and I was like, nah, this is like 100% ideal, because I don't really like to be like crunched in the crowd. So I'm like, I'm literally at the front with no one around me, getting to shoot it. Like you can still enjoy it, you know, like it's not really like you know, you're still processing what's happening, like, but it's that was heaps of fun. So I was like, nah, definitely, yeah. I remember like one time, because I don't really like being in the like. When you tend to show in the mosh pit right at the front, and like, as much as I'd love to be that close to seeing the person perform, like the only experience I've had where I really just wanted to get up the front because we could was when The Weeknd came. Oh, yo. And we were like, me and my sister, we're just like, okay, let's just do this, because this is the only chance we're going to get, right? So we got to Spark like real early. Waited in the line with the VIP tickets. We went all out. We're like, man, this guy is legend, and we love his work and what he's about, you know? So we got there, and we pretty much made it. There was like the stage, the barrier, one person, and then us. We're like that close. And oh my gosh, we waited. Everyone, like the pre-acts, everyone came. We're like, man, where is this guy? Where is this guy? Is he coming out? You know, and then he did his like first couple of songs, and man, everyone was just like pushing and pushing and pushing. But like we enjoyed it, and they were like, cool, we've had this experience. We've seen him. Yeah. We jumped over, went to the back, and we're like, man, that's a good way to enjoy the music now. Yeah. Because now it's about appreciating the art, his music, his performance, you know, and at the back there's so much space, and everyone at the back vibes. That's my vibe, bro. Like the further back you go, the less annoying people are. Yeah. You know, like exactly, because like I was at the front at Spark for Kendrick Lamar and Anderson .Paak. Yeah, and like Kendrick Lamar was like we stayed there the whole time. Yeah, but it was just like, you know, like people just like pushing. Like I'm just like what are you doing? Like exactly, you know, man. And it's just like, and with Anderson .Paak, we did what you did. We started at the front, and then we moved to the back, and I was like, hold up, this is way better. Yeah. We can dance, like exactly, and like you just vibe. Yeah, and the energy's less volatile. Like I feel like I struggle when I'm like worried about what people around me, what the energy is. Like, you know, like, cause especially when you got drunk people and stuff, you know, like, you know, I just don't want to worry about it. You know, that's why I love getting to the back. I'm like, no one's going to get in my way. Like, and like you said, like people at the back are vibing, you know, they're just having a good time. Like no one's trying to like push through to the front and, you know.
That was like at the first 660 concert when my sister went to Western Springs. And we're like, we're not going to the front. So we just hung at the back and we're like, sweet, we can see on the big screens, we can just see like, you know, the front and then halfway through the show, they like come and they've got the stage set up at the back and we're like, man, we just waited here and now we're like right at the front.
Yeah, that's fine.
You know? Oh man, that is the best.
Yeah. No, it's definitely a good time when you get that good space when you say,
Do you think doing photo and video is what you want to be doing for the rest of your life? Who is Tom beyond today and beyond this year and this moment?
I feel like at the moment I'd say yes. Yeah. But like I said, like everything's open-ended. But like I definitely love that space. Like like I always loved like movies and stuff, you know, like I always wanted to kind of, you know, like, so like it definitely makes like when I look at my future, I definitely see that.
Like film?
I'd love to make a movie. I want to make a whole movie inside a studio with like built sets. That's like my dream.
Hey.
Yeah. I want to do like an entire studio shot film, like the old days.
Yeah.
You know, like when like they had full sets and like it just looks kind of fake, but like that's kind of the magical thing about it. That's like 100% my favorite thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what type of genre or what the story might be?
Nah, I don't know.
Not that.
It would probably be like a sci-fi or like a fantasy or like a some kind of like sci-fi, I reckon, maybe. That's probably my favorite genre of film. So like
what's your favorite sci-fi film?
Like all time?
Yeah.
Maybe Blade Runner.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love like, you know, Blade Runner. I've seen 2001: A Space Odyssey like 8 times in the cinema.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorites. Even like the new Blade Runner 2049.
Yep.
Unreal. And Alien. Yeah.
I just have to say that I have like not watched any of those movies.
Yo.
I'm just kind of sitting here going, but I gotta.
You got it, man. That's, you haven't seen Alien?
No.
Whoa. Man, you're in for a treat.
Yeah?
Yeah, man, that's cool. Yeah, phew. That is like, that film when it came out was like people were fainting in the cinema because I was so scared. Like you won't get scared. Like you know, watching it now, you won't be like, oh, this is scary.
Yeah.
Like you'll like understand why it was scary.
Yeah.
But people do find it scary still. But to me, it's like the best horror movie ever made.
Okay.
Yeah, I love it. Like, yeah.
Okay, sweet. Maybe I gotta.
There's like way too many Alien movies now, though.
Yeah.
But the first 2 movies are like top tier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sweet. Rahul said that's on Disney Plus for anyone who wants to know.
Yeah.
You can.
But Blade Runner's the ultimate though.
Yeah.
Like,
That's on Disney too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Blade Runner is like.
What is it about it?
So it's based on like a short story by an author called Philip K. Dick. And it's basically revolves around there's these kind of artificial intelligence. They're called replicants. They're designed to be like humans, but they're not quite. And there's someone who like hunts them down basically and kills them, tries to retire them, and that's Harrison Ford.
Okay.
And so, but the whole idea is basically like what makes you human. Yeah. Like it kind of like humanizes it, and it's like, you know, like these are created as humans, but like are they, you know, does that make them less human? Like what makes you human and them, like their feelings like not valid? That's kind of like, I guess, like the question the movie asks you.
Yeah.
And then the sequel just kind of takes it from there. Like they made it like 30 years later, and it's unreal. Like that's like the only sequel like that's ever been made that should have been made and was as good as the original. Right. Which is a big thing to say, but I reckon like, unreal. Yeah.
Yeah. Me?
So yeah, you're in for a treat, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I gotta add that to my list then. Sounds like I got some watching to do. Okay, sweet. I like watching like when I think sci-fi. The most recent sci-fi film maybe was I enjoyed Ready Player One.
I didn't see that actually.
I don't know if that's
Still
sci-fi,
good.
maybe more fantasy or sci-fi.
Yeah, I guess it's just like it's probably like the action adventure side of sci-fi.
Yeah.
You know, I guess it's like got pockets of subgenres within.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I what I liked about it and what I enjoyed was how and kind of where I see this like our world is heading, like where everything right now we live in a world where everything's on social platform and into that the online visual augmented world. And I can see it's heading there.
Yeah.
Like, are you into like NFTs or heard much about them?
I've been looking into them.
Yeah,
and like crypto and stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's like when I watched Ready Player One, and then I heard like I haven't done too much research into NFTs, but just from what I kind of understand about it on like a very high level, is that there's this digital space and this digital persona, and these are the types of people we're gonna be becoming.
Yeah.
You know?
No, that's
So,
I mean that
man,
is the interesting thing about sci-fi is that it is like the mirror to society.
Yeah.
It's almost why I feel more comfortable watching older sci-fi sometimes because it's like it's holding up a mirror to like society like 30 years ago.
Yeah.
It's a little more comfortable to watch now. Like, you know, you don't watch and you're like, oh, you know, sometimes you watch modern sci-fi and you're like, oh man, this is just hitting home too hard.
Real, eh?
Yeah. But it's even like if you think about The Matrix, like The Matrix holds up scary good in terms of like, especially it's what it's about, you know, the whole idea of it's like, you know, if you found out that, you know, like the world you're in isn't real and, you know, you're plugged into it and it's just to keep you happy. Like, would you choose to stay there or leave? You know, like I think that's like a really interesting.
Do you feel there is a Matrix?
I don't know, man. Like, I feel like it's kind of like it doesn't. Man, I have no idea. I feel like it's like as a kid, like you just kind of dismissed it when I watched. Like you're like, oh, yo, this is just like cool. Yeah. But like as an adult, I'm like, like, that's interesting. You know, like it's definitely asking interesting questions. Like, and I definitely like wouldn't write it off. Yeah. Like I don't think I'd like to think that. Like I think there's a lot of things where I'm just like, I'll just admit, I'm like, I don't think I want to believe that the world is like that. Yeah. You know, like I think like there's truths to it in more like metaphorical senses. Yeah. But like I feel like it's like literally being like, I just like, you know, there'll be people who'll be like, no. Like, you know, like this is all a simulation. And I'm like, I'm not going to tell you you're wrong, but like, like I can go my whole life and I'll probably never know that. So like, I don't want to like subscribe to that. Like, you know, like I just feel like it would make everything so nihilistic. Like,
I agree. I feel like in some sense there is like a matrix in the sense of like getting caught up in the perceived notion of what happiness in the world is and the, you know?
You know, exactly.
And once you break out from that, then, and you know that you're the ruler of your own world, then you're good.
Yeah, exactly.
But anything beyond that, I feel like I'm still figuring out like, is there? What is this? And
there's just so much you don't know. And like, I think a lot of people people will find it easier to subscribe to like the happiest or the most sad option. You know, like I think it's easy to cling to like either side, you know, like either like, it's all just, you know, it's all
doom and gloom
all fake or it's like all sunshine and lollipops. And like, I don't know, the truth probably sits somewhere more in between. But
do you have free time? Do you know what I mean? Like, do you have spare time, free time? When
I try to. Yeah, that was a big thing this year. Like last year, I just got caught up. Right. Like got too busy.
On the grind.
Yeah, just too busy. I just wasn't saying no enough. Wasn't, you know,
that's
myself.
important, eh?
Yeah.
I'm learning about that. I'm learning to know when to say no and when to take time out for myself. And
exactly. Yeah. And I'm married. So like, I always want to make sure I'm like prioritizing that. Like, I don't want to be like that guy who's just like, oh, sorry, I've got to keep working. Yeah. You know? So like, that was part of the reason of me getting up earlier. Right. Was like, I felt like, you know, I can often finish a bit earlier and feel okay about it. Yep. And like, you know, like weekends can get busy and stuff, but it's just like, you know, if you have the time, just find that time. And,
yeah,
you know, like I think that's super important. Like, and I think that's what I was meaning to when I was talking about like people push themselves so hard to get somewhere.
Yeah.
And I feel like for me, it's like important to like
refresh, rejuvenate.
Yeah. And to like actually engage with the people around you.
Yeah.
You know, like that's what's important, you know? So like you got to water the plants.
Does that affect your output or creativity if you don't have that?
That's a good question. I don't know. I wouldn't say like notably. I think it outputs like, I think it affects my like demeanor.
Right.
Like there was definitely a point like late last year where I was just done. Like I was feeling quite burnt out before Christmas.
Yeah.
And I was just like, someone came to me like, yo, can we quickly do this video? It was like just before Christmas Eve. I was like, no, I'm done.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like I'm done.
Spent.
Yeah. I was off, you know, over New Year's shooting anyway. But like for me, that was like not work. Like it's fun. But you know, like I wasn't getting much time off. Yeah. So I was like, nah, I'm done. Like,
so what do you do in your spare time? Free time.
Man, I like to do nothing.
What's nothing?
Like I like to just
like is nothing mindless?
No, I think it's just like, you know, you're often doing so much.
Yeah.
Like I really like just to kind of like, you know, have a day off, just like actually just like lie down on the couch, watch some movies.
Yeah.
You know, like just take those opportunities when you can. Like, and obviously sometimes I got to stop being so lazy. But you know, or just like, you know, day off, you know, like we'll go see our family for coffee in the morning and just come back, have a relaxing afternoon, you know, just like, I'm not really one to go out and do a whole lot of physical stuff. Yeah. Maybe I should be, apart from golf, but I don't play as much golf as I'd like to. So, but yeah, like I definitely like R&R. Like I definitely like to, you know, all right, day off. Cool. Like I don't want to do anything.
Yeah. No, I feel like I need those times as well. Yeah. Like, you know, you can get caught up in the grind and like I was even just thinking like this week's been pretty full on. And then like I've said, like we're interviewed this morning and interviewing now, and then there's another one tomorrow and there's still episodes I need to like edit and get out. And then I'm like, oh damn, like, and then it's Monday. Yeah. And then it starts again.
Exactly.
But like, have you taken the time out for yourself? Yeah. And or like even just that moment, you know, where you just like breathe and
the society's not geared up for you to rest properly, so you got to find it yourself, right?
True.
Like you know, the system doesn't really set up for people to thrive, like personally, physically, you know, mentally.
Yeah, I feel like also you can get caught, like you were saying before, when you're on that path of wanting to master and be the best, you can also get lost in that comparativeness or comparing and wanting to one up or be in front. Because you're looking at what everyone else is doing, you're like, oh my gosh, I need to like maintain, you know, and you need to keep up, you need to be up to date, and you're just like, man, that's tiring. Yeah. I just try and use, you know, other people like that as motivation. Yeah. Like I'd never look at anyone as competition. Yeah. Or like, you know, like So when you say motivation though, is that motivation in the sense like, oh, I'm not doing enough and I need to... Nah, I think it's just like being like, oh, yo, like that person's doing mean work. Like that's inspiring me to go out and do mean work. Yes. You know, like I think like people get way too competitive. Like it's like, oh, you know, like for me to get up, I got to talk down on this person. But like, for sure. I don't want it to be like that at all, you know, like, so like it's people are doing their thing and it's like, cool. Like, and if there's someone doing more bigger stuff than I am, then I'm not going to like, you know, obviously you're like, there's a human part of you where you're just like, oh, you know, like, you know, like maybe you feel a little jealous, but then like you put that aside and you're like, cool, like they've worked hard to get there. Yeah. So I'm just going to do the same thing. Like, you know, like I'm seeing where I can go, you know. For sure, man. You know? Yeah. I think it's, you can get some real unhealthy obsessions on other people. Yeah. No, definitely. Definitely. And I think that's I feel the same way, where it's not like when you see other people, you're like out of pride and ego, like, oh man, look at them. And I am like, I always think I am where I am because of what I've done. And you know, if I want to go forward, then I got to put energy in. Yeah. If I am where I am, that's because of the energy I've put in up until now. Exactly. Yeah. Everyone's got their own journey. and everyone's putting in work and getting to where they want to get. So
yeah,
there's no way that we can talk negatively upon other people because
you're only talking like you're only exposing yourself.
Exactly.
I think when you talk like that about people, you know, like you're just exposing your bitterness, you know, like because like I said, we all have the human reactions to things where you're like, you might be a bit jealous, like that's
okay.
That's okay, but it's like how you act on that.
Yeah,
you know, like you got to put that to the side.
Yeah,
and be like, okay, like I feel jealous, but like why?
Yeah,
and like how is this like can be a positive thing?
Yeah,
rather than being like, oh, yo, that person did this, like I didn't think it was that good, like I would have done this. You know, it's just like nah, like.
Do you have a lot of like self-reflection and like internal talk? Is that something that?
Yeah, I guess so. Like I always think I try to keep myself in check.
Is it like a daily reflection or more like in the moment type of thing or?
Yeah, I don't think there's any rhyme or reason to it, but I definitely think it's good to evaluate what you're doing and why you're doing it and how you are interacting with people.
Yep.
Like I think like it's like, you know, like seeing how you want like the world or the industry to be, and just kind of doing that.
Yep.
You know, like living that, like because like the thing is people talk about how they want to be like, oh, you know, like everyone's like snakes, they're always like backstabbing you and stuff, but then they'll go and do the same thing. Yep. So it's like everyone will talk about it, but it's like unless you're actually like actively not doing that and changing it, then you're just repeating the cycle. Yeah. You know, so I think you got to consciously be conscious about that, you know, and just be like, look, we're out here putting good vibes. We're all in this together. Like, everyone's got their own lane. Yep. You know, there's enough space for everyone.
Exactly, man.
You know? Like,
exactly.
Not worrying about it, man. I feel like I'd be so much more stressed if I was like worried about everyone, you know?
you spend so much time worrying about everyone that you don't even worry about yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
like what am I? Focus on yourself.
What are you going to do? Like,
exactly. Before everyone was already worrying about themselves. You don't need to worry about other people, you know?
Yeah.
That's what I've found.
Yeah,
like everyone is so concerned and worried about, you know, themselves.
Yeah.
That they're not worrying about you. So
that's the thing, man. It's like at the end of the day, like, you know, people who are you're like are doing stuff you want to be doing, you're inspired by, like they're not worried about other people. They're just like, all right, let's do this. Like, you know, like it's just it's as simple as that.
Yeah, for sure. Is there anything that you want to talk about, or you've got any questions? Or?
Well, not specifically. Yeah. It's been pretty good yarn.
Yeah, man. It's just been good to just catch up and get to know who you are. I had a guy on before. His name was Alex Huggy. He's on TikTok. His name is Finding Huggy.
Yeah.
And there's one thing that he always says is strangers are friends you've never met yet.
Yeah.
You haven't met yet. And that resonated with me. And that's why I was just like, man, I just need to like because I want to meet people and hear about their journey, what their story, who they're about. It's just like, well, okay, let's just rock up and have a conversation. It's like we're just catching up at like a cafe, or because we don't do that enough.
Yeah,
you know, we're like, I was at a conference just like last week, and you're in a room of like 450 people, but you never go and talk to every one of them.
Yeah.
Because you're like, oh, that insecurity, or that I can't go talk to you and I can't go talk to you. And but for me, it was just like, man, I need to practice and get over that.
Yeah.
You know, so
it's something that everyone else has the same thing, right?
Yeah.
You know, like everyone has the same thoughts.
Yeah.
It's kind of like humbling to realize that. And then it's often sometimes you can think about how narcissistic it is.
Yep.
Like, you know, you think you're being like self-deprecating or, you know, like humble, but like, oh, I don't want to like intervene with people. But it can actually be like a narcissistic thought where it's like, you know, you think like how you feel is so important that like you can't, you know, like engage with other people, you know, like it's like, you know, we're all, you know, everyone's insecure in some way.
They are 100%.
Everyone, we show it in different ways, but like, you know, nobody's actually rolling around like maybe Kanye. I don't know.
I feel like he's just so sure of himself.
Yeah.
That he's not worried.
Well, here's the genius of his line of thinking, or like the inspiration for a generation was that like no one else is going to believe in you. Yeah. So you got to do it yourself.
Exactly.
You know, like what is this line? It's like the classic line. It's like, if you're a fan of Kanye, you're not a fan of Kanye, you're a fan of yourself.
Yeah.
I like always love that line from him, you know, like, and like, it's just, he's right. Like he's that, you know, that's what artists are for. Like he projects that ego and that confidence. And it's probably not, you know, what you see in camera isn't really the real him all the time. But like, because an artist can do that, it can help other people, you know, like you listen to him, you're like, oh, this guy believes in himself. And like, is, you know, like I feel good, you know, like I feel like I can go take on the world today, you know, but like someone's going to take those, you know, like people like that take big risks and take a lot of heat for it, for like just regular people to kind of drive to work, turn on his music and be like, oh yeah, you know, like, all right, let's get it, you know, like.
Do you feel like you know yourself?
I think you always think you know yourself, you know. I think you know that changes. I think it's good to not like think you've defined I think it's not good to like define yourself too much. You know, like obviously you do, but like I think it's good just to like, again, be a little open-ended, you know, like accepting, you know, how things change. And
I like to say you don't find yourself, but you create yourself.
You know,
like every day you've got an opportunity to decide who I want to be and what I want to who do I want to be?
That's
let me just try and test that out and I'll be there. If I don't like it, cool. Let's just pack it up and try something else and let me try and be that person. Like not be someone else, but like be that person as in myself.
No, that's cool. That's a good way to look at it.
But no, man, thank you so much for
it's been
coming
fun.
along and just sharing who you are and what you do. And I think one of the biggest takeaways for me, and this has been like a reoccurring theme as well, is that like life's your game to play, you know, and you don't need to have it figured out.
No.
You can run it on the fly. You can change it whenever you want. And whatever you're doing in that moment, you put 100% into it.
Yeah, that's it, man.
Know?
Yeah.
And I think there's a sense of like liberation in that, you know, where you're not holding on to like an attachment of the future or of the past. It's just you're currently in this space of now. And so with that being said, there are the two questions that we always ask at the end of the podcast. So to you, Tom, what does it mean to be human?
Oh, man.
And if you want to share your thoughts on what the question, what your ideas and thinking is, like when someone asks you that question, and you know, go hard.
This is a hard question. I don't know. I think like, I mean, maybe we touched on it a bit, but I feel like it's like about being a human is about like being like a small part of like the big picture. I think like
a small part of the big picture.
Yeah, you know, like we're all connected and we're all like trying to work together. But like we all need each other. You know, so like I feel like it's being like connected to people around you and like society and like trying to actually just be like a good positive like energy or influence on what's happening around you and like focusing on that. I think like that's that thing, right? Like I think I always struggle with people who think that so much in terms about like, well, what do I get out of it or what, you know, like I feel like the question needs to be like, well, what can I do? You know, like what can I give? How can I help? You know, I think if, you know, you've put out that energy, like that's really important. And I think like as a human, like I think that's kind of like to me just something I feel like resonates. It's like what it means to be a human, I guess. Yeah.
Sweet, man. And what does it mean to be now?
Putting 100% into what you do at the time. I think actually just taking the time to smell the flowers along the way.
Nice.
Just, you know, like accepting what you've done and where you've got. And trying to keep that perspective. I think, you know, not losing sight of how far you've actually come. Yeah.
Perfect, man. No, I appreciate what you've just said, because you often do get caught up and caught out just thinking about how much you want and you want to receive. And you forget how much you have to give. you know, and how much you've acquired. So like, this is not even just materials, but like just knowledge and who you are as a person and how you can make the world a better place.
Yeah.
You know,
a little bit different, you know, skills and experiences.
And it doesn't cost anything to help someone.
Nah, bro.
You know, like
straight up.
In the plainest of sense, it's just talking.
Yeah.
You know, so I appreciate what you've said in terms of what it means to be human, and then what you said about what it means to be now and just smelling the flowers, man.
Yeah.
That's going to be one I'm going to remember for a long time.
Cheers, man.
Because I've had one of my mates on, and he goes listening to the sounds of the birds.
Yeah,
you know,
that's it.
For him, that was now. And that, for me, that clicked just then when you were talking about smelling the flowers. I was like, man, like so often you go out and you walk in the bush and you see things, but like, now I'm going to smell.
Yeah.
You know, because you just forget that you've got like a nose to smell, your eyes to see, your ears to hear.
Yeah.
You know, so thanks for that. I'm going to do that.
No problem, man.
Thank you for bringing your presence and your energy and just being open and sharing about who you are as a person and what you're doing and why you're doing it. You know, I really appreciate who you are and what you're doing, and I'll just be looking forward to seeing what you create and where you go.
Thank you very much.
You know,
appreciate it.
And I'd love to have you back on as well and share, see how you've evolved and how you've grown and where you are on your journey.
Yeah, sounds good.
Because for me, that's the goal of life, right? Is to keep growing.
Yeah, 100%.
So anytime you feel like you're going to come back on, man,
bro. Appreciate
doors
it.
always open.
Yeah. We can talk about the movies you've watched.
Exactly. Yo, all right, let's do that. I'll watch Blade Runner 1 and 2 and Alien.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And so before the next time you come back on, I'll have watched those 3.
Beautiful. I'm excited to hear about it.
All right, my man. Thank you so much. And I want to thank you if you've tuned in and you're still here, you're watching and you're listening. I want to thank you so much for being here. And we only ask that if there is someone who has benefited from what we've talked about today, that you just share it forward to them. We couldn't ask for anything more in this world. And with that being said, until next time, be human, be now.